What's going on, everybody? It's me, Brandon, back again with another episode, and we are talking about Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. This game is the sequel to Metal Gear Solid, and I played Metal Gear Solid for the first time straight through last summer, and I really thought it was something special. Ever since I finished Metal Gear Solid, I was like, in between whatever next game I'm playing, I gotta play Metal Gear Solid 2. I want to add to this franchise. I want to keep playing, and I want to build up to playing through all of them straight through. As before I played Metal Gear Solid 1, I only played Metal Gear Solid 4, which is kind of crazy, and I know everybody says that's nuts, and it is. It truly, like, I missed so much context. But playing through now, and especially finishing the second game, I am more excited than ever to continue on with the series. So let's go ahead and talk about Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Back after another Metal Gear game has been completed, this time with Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. When I finished MGS 1 last summer, I was mad at myself for how long it took to finally experience Metal Gear Solid in its entirety. Simply put, I loved my experience with Metal Gear Solid. The characters, the graphics, the atmosphere, and the humor mixed with cinematic action altogether, it was a total package. For a game that came out in 1998, looking back through the lens of time, this game was a massive achievement in creating a cinematic masterpiece of a video game and cementing Metal Gear Solid as a must-play title for the Sony PlayStation. As the next system came into frame, the PlayStation 2, there was so much to be excited about. Thanks to the power of the PlayStation 2, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty was the first sequel on next-generation hardware. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and dive into Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Finally, in 2001, Metal Gear Solid 2 was released on the PlayStation 2, bringing in a new generation of Metal Gear Solid. In Metal Gear Solid 2, you play as Raiden, a special operations soldier working for the government under Foxhound, trying to uncover the terrorist group responsible for taking down a tanker that went up a few months before Raiden touched down on the Big Shell. After my playtime of a little over 11 hours with how many twists and turns across my playthrough of MGS2, all I can say is that this game was an ambitious narrative take on the US government, the use of technology, and politics, all wrapped up into a phenomenal experience. MGS2 was hit with some turbulence during its planned release schedule of November 12th, 2001. Spoilers aside, this game has some heavy themes of government politics, and is located in New York City for a few sections of the game. To put it lightly, there were a lot of unintentional parallels and themes throughout MGS2, and the unfortunate events of the 9/11 attack in New York left this game in a wake of muddy waters and problems for not only Konami, but Hideo Kojima as well, even jeopardizing his job at the company. Thankfully, Konami was backing Kojima and followed through with a November release, and they would both wait and see what the people would think about the game. The gameplay of MGS2 is more of a refined version of the original, with the best new addition being the first-person mode, allowing Raiden to take action with sharp precision. This feature in MGS1 would have been incredible, so having it here makes Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay perfect for the series. The difference between Raiden and Snake was not that different in my opinion. Raiden has a cartwheel, but I can't distinguish between Raiden and Solid Snake outside of that. Of course, a new console generation means new graphics, and the leap from MGS1 to MGS2 is incredible, with more realistic character models, and the overall graphics of the game add to better immersion while you are on your mission, thanks to the power of the PlayStation 2. The PS2 is my favorite video game console, and I've played countless games on it and still go back to it. However, the fact that it took me this long to play such an incredible game like Sons of Liberty kills me. I can remember walking across the Blockbuster floor dozens of times and having looked at the box box art of Solid Snake on MGS2's cover and not thinking anything about it. I don't think I would have fully grasped the all-encompassing narrative of Sons of Liberty if I played it earlier, especially as a kid. Without saying any spoilers, even though it's a 23-year-old game, as I said at the top, it's a timely, topical narrative with shades of modern technology and politics in question. I can easily see this game going over my head at a young age, and I simply probably would have wished to be back into Ape Escape 2 or Sly Cooper. What holds Metal Gear Solid back from Metal Gear Solid 1 is the setting. I found the Big Shell was a weak setting compared to the incredible Shadow Moses Island of the original game. We are confined to a location that looks very similar throughout the playthrough of the story. Now, don't get me wrong, we still get big and great boss battles, narrative storytelling, and new and evolved gameplay from the original, but as I was playing, I couldn't help but compare my time on the Big Shell to the legendary Shadow Moses Island. I will say as well, and I know this is a topic of contention for a lot of people at the time, it is all I remember hearing about growing up with these systems in the infamous switch of playing as Solid Snake in the prologue, and then the rest of the game is all Raiden. I didn't mind personally with the switch, especially since Solid Snake is assisting you in the game. Still, Raiden acts as a perfect protagonist, allowing the narrative of Sons of Liberty to really shine. In conclusion, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty was a fantastic experience. I found the locations stale compared to the original, but the next generation graphics of the PlayStation 2 shined, adding a well-deserved layer of complexity to all of the character models, locations, and overall world of Metal Gear Solid. Raiden, the new protagonist, is the perfect vessel to carry you through the wild narrative of the game when reality and fiction intertwine. With many modern technology and political issues today, it is eerily similar to the modern day in 2025. Metal Gear Solid 2 has an ambitious narrative where it is a story that can't fully be realized without reflecting on the contemporary standards of technology and politics. So here we are, finished with another Metal Gear Solid game, and as I finish each of these titles, I just can't help but ask myself why you took so long to get into this series. Metal Gear Solid 2 was quite the ride, and I cannot wait to see what comes next with Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. And that's it for this episode today. I really hope you enjoyed it. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty was an incredible experience. While I didn't love it as much as Metal Gear Solid 1, especially with the location, I felt everything was very samey, as I said in the review. I really love this narrative, and reading into a lot of why this game was changed right at the 11th hour of Metal Gear Solid 2's release is kind of crazy due to the events of what was happening in the world, and it's pretty crazy to go down that rabbit hole and see what was changed and what's missing, and it's not necessarily the original Metal Gear Solid 2 we were going to get, and it's just this whole thing. But the story, the narrative, Raiden, I found this game fascinating, and it only gets better from here, from what everybody tells me. The next big Metal Gear Solid game, or the game that I know people talk about the most, is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. So that is up next. I'm going to probably play it sometime next month. I got to play some of these games, and I got to write some reviews, and I got to make some videos before the big game comes out next month, which is Monster Hunter Wilds. That game is going to take up so much time, but I'm ready for it. So that is it. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Metal Gear Solid game is. Did you like Metal Gear Solid 2? I really liked it, but for my reasons that I've already said, I didn't find it as good as the first game, but I think the story itself is truly remarkable and very eerie. It's so weird. Like, I played that game in friggin' 2025, and they're talking about themes that are relevant today, but this was made in the very early 2000s, and that is just crazy. It's crazy. So please let me know, again, in the comments down below. As always, my name is Brandon, and I will see you all next time.